everyone, hope you are good and be happy always. Once again, welcome to Shachi's Academy, and today we'll start chapter 5 for class 12 CBSE of Indian Economic Development. See, without human beings, nothing can function. So today we'll study the importance of human resource, and in this chapter we'll study human capital formation, what is human resource and other details, etc. So, what are the highlights of this chapter? Human resource, human capital, physical capital and human capital formation. We will study about all of them. Sources of human capital, problems in human capital formation in India, importance of education in human capital formation and challenges for education. All these problems are attached to your human capital, that is human resource of your nation. What is human resource? All the people who are in their working age, that means who can work, who can function well and work in different factories, as different professionals also, and as self-employed people. So we will study about human beings of our nation, that is India, and how they help in our economic development and what are the problems attached to them. Okay, so what is human capital formation here? We will study some of the terms attached with that is human resource. Human resource refers to abilities, that is skills and expertise of people that they have, of human beings to contribute to the process of value addition in economy. That means here we have two important terms, that is human resource. Human resource here specifically does not refer to only a human being, a person, but it refers to skills and abilities which are acquired by a person through training or experience, etc. and education, and his contribution in the process of value addition. What is value addition? See, you have a cloth. When you stitch shirt out of that, that is value addition. You have added value to that. You have made a shirt out of cloth, and now you can sell that shirt at higher price because price of cloth is lower than the price of shirt. Similarly, when you make flour with wheat, that is value addition. When you make bread with that wheat flour, that is your value addition. So value addition means improving upon something and selling it at high price. That is value addition basically. Okay, then human capital. What is that? Human capital refers to the stock or expertise of a nation at a point of time. Here it is the sum total of skill and expertise of engineers, doctors, professors and workers of all types who are engaged or have the capacity and expertise to be engaged in the process of value addition. See, people who have skill, who have expertise like professors, doctors, engineers and other workers who work in their best of their capacity and add value to the process of production. That is your human capital basically. It not necessarily means that only any person can be there, but a person who has skill or expertise to do any work or add value to any product, that is your human capital. Okay, then we have now human capital formation. It is the process of adding to the stock of human capital. It happens when more trained professionals are added to the existing stock. For example, every year in India, there are many colleges who give out or who produce engineers, doctors, professors. Okay, there are many n number of institutes in India. So that is adding to the stock of capital, human capital. That is continuously they are churning out new engineers, new doctors and new professionals, new workers every year. So human capital of India is increasing day by day. That is your human capital formation. That is adding to the stock. Stock means what is the exact number or what is the number of human capital at particular point of time. Take for example, in 2023, if we have 10 lakh professionals in India, but in next year, we will have 11 lakh professionals. That means 1 lakh professionals has been added. That is human capital formation. Simple. Then, human capital is a stock concept and human capital formation is a flow concept. Why? Human capital means number of professionals or number of people, workforce that can work efficiently with the skills. That is, what is that number at any particular point of time? Just now I explained, in the month of August, if we have 10 lakh professionals in India, that is human capital. Okay, we have a stock. We have certain amount of that, certain number, exact number. But what is human capital formation? That is continuously going on. Every month there are new professionals. Every day there are some of the workers who get trained and who get added to that human capital. Okay, that is your human capital formation. It is a flow concept. It keeps on going. It keeps on coming in. So that concept. Done. Explanation of terms here. Human capital is a means to an end. Means, why? Because human capital here is understood as a resource to add value, to do any work. So here human capital is not only a men or women, but they are capital who can add value, who can produce something. Okay, that means it is used to complete some task, some work, or some other type of accomplishments. Then it is a means in the process of value addition in the economy. It is used as a means. That means it is used as a resource like other resources or other sources of production, factors of production. Then human development, on the other hand, is an end result. Human development. See, when people get educated, when people get training and experience, their development occurs, and that is human development. And what is that? It is end result. When you get education, when you get training, when you get experience through your on-job trainings, etc., you become efficient, you become better to add value to the any production. That is your end. That means you have become developed, and that is human development. Skill and expertise of human beings in itself is an achievement. See, when you get educated, when you acquire some skill, that is your expertise and that is your achievement. See, if I am a professor, I gain PhD degree, I gain MBA, I gain MA economics, so that is my achievement. I have achieved that in my life. That's why it is achievement. If you pass your 12th, that is your achievement. That means expertise and skills are what? They are achievements in your life, irrespective of its contribution in the process of value addition. You may add any value or not, but that is your achievement. See, if you have done your 12th, that is your achievement. You may not go for any job, you may not add value to anything, but still it is your achievement. Okay, it is end result in itself. Briefly, as a means to an end, human capital is linked with value addition. So it's linked to value addition. Then add as an end result itself. Human development is an index of human welfare. When development of human beings occur, when they get skilled, when they get more educated and they acquire more skills and expertise, that is their human development. Development of them occurs. That means it is human development and it is the index of human welfare. Why? Because when people get educated, experienced, they get better jobs, they earn better livelihood, they earn better money and can lead better life and give better life for their family also. That means they have developed and now their welfare has occurred, has been ensured. Then, irrespective of its contribution in the process of value addition. See, they may add any value or not, but when they get educated, when they get developed, that is their human welfare. Difference between physical and human capital. Here, meaning physical capital refers to the produced means of production. I'll explain that in brief here. See, what is physical capital? There are machines and plant which you use in the process of production, like factors of production. You might have studied land, labor, capital. That capital over here is physical capital. Physical capital means all the machines which you use in your factories, the plant, that is building in which you keep those machines. These all are physical capitals. Okay, and what is human capital? Human skill, that is human skill and expertise that is inside, that is with that human resource which you use for your doing any productive activity in your factories and firms. That is your human capital. So understood here? So physical capital refers to the produced means of production. That means what are produced means of production here? You produce machines to do something else. So that is, machines are what? Produced means. You also produce them in factories only. Machines are not born out of human beings. Okay. So machines are also produced and that is produced means of production. That is there. Human capital refers to skill and expertise acquired by men over time. So when men get educated, skilled and they get expertise and experience, that is human capital. Otherwise, man is not treated as human capital. Otherwise. Then, process of formation. The decision to invest in physical capital is taken by the owner after considering the expected rate of returns from the investment. Thus, it is an economic and technical process. Here, you can understand that human capital, capital, that is physical capital, is invested or it is used for any production by considering its rate of return. For example, if you purchase any machine for your production, you will consider what is the price of that machine and how much production will be done with the help of that machine. If the production that is expected out of that machine is lesser than its price, then you will not consider installing it in your factory. But if you can produce more of amount of that production of that price of that machine, then you will install that machine in a factory. That means you will purchase machinery only if it is profitable to you, otherwise you will not purchase. And regarding this human capital, the decision to invest in human capital is not taken after considering rate of return. Why? Because no one knows that what type of person I am, what type of educator I am, what type of teacher I am. They will consider my credentials and they will employ them. Only after employing me for 3-4 months, they will come to know that madam can teach nicely, then she can be employed further. That is the thing. And similar is the case with doctors, engineers, etc. If they do their work nicely, then company can continue their contract or their work further also. But if they do not their work, they are what? They are terminated from their jobs. And tangibility. Physical capital is tangible and it can be sold in market like any commodity. Machines can be sold in market, so it is tangible. Human beings cannot be sold. See, my skill cannot be sold in market. A doctor's skill, you can't take away doctor's skill from doctor away from him and sell it in market. So this is the skill of doctor. It will treat you. You take it at home. No, that doesn't happen. So this is the case with human capital. You can't separate their skill and expertise from them. Okay, but you can separate machines from their owners. So if I have a camera, you can take away my camera and I can rent that camera to you, but I can't rent my skill to you. A doctor can't rent his skill to anyone. So it is inseparable, and that's why it is intangible. The inseparability from owner I have just explained you. Then mobility. Mobility of physical capital across borders is restricted mainly due to trade barriers, otherwise it is completely mobile. Otherwise, in case of human capital, movement of human capital is restricted by nationality and culture. It is not perfectly mobile. Take for example, I wish I can go abroad, but I have kids, I have a home, so I can't be perfectly mobile, but I can send my machine, I can courier my camera to anywhere. I can courier any swing machine or any lights or any equipment of my YouTube channel anywhere. That means my machines are perfectly mobile, but I am not. Similarly, you are not perfectly mobile. If you are a doctor, you can think of going anywhere, but if there are not good prospects, if that nation will not pay you well, you have many considerations. And nationality also, a nation in which you are targeting to go may not give you visa, may not allow to work there. So these are all the problems which are associated with migration or mobility of a human labor. Then depreciation. Depreciation in machines cannot be avoided whatsoever you do. A machine you have purchased has a perfect tenure, have a perfect, that means a time limit up till when it can function. Take for example, if a machine can produce up to or function up to 20 years, then per year it will depreciate 1/20th amount, or it will depreciate, it will fully become useless after 20 years or 22 years at most. But for human beings, they can be upgraded. Wow, they can be educated more degrees can be taken, more skills can be acquired, they can gain more experience. So depreciation in them can be avoided up to a certain limit. Okay. Sources of human capital or determinants of human capital. Number 1, expenditure on education, expenditure on health, on the job training, study programs for adults, migration, expenditure on information. All these are the factors which lead to adding more expertise and skills in human beings. So what do? We get more education. In that manner, we acquire more skills and better brain power. Expenditure on health. When we spend on health, that means we are gaining strength. Say for example, if I am anemic, then I'll take iron tablets or iron tonics. Okay. And if I have certain vitamin D deficiency, I can take some medicines. In that manner, what will happen? I'll become robust in health and I can function well. That means these are determinants. Then on the job training, if I get training regularly, maybe some faculty development programs or maybe other type of trainings, then my skills can be upgraded. In the similar manner, doctors go to conferences, lawyers also attend some seminars and conferences. They regularly read, they keep on habit of studying journals, scientific journals, etc., and law journals for lawyers, etc. So in that manner, they can upgrade their knowledge. So on the job training, on the campus training for MBA students or other people can help them upgrade their skills. Study programs for adults, government and NGOs involve themselves in imparting education to people who have become adults and who did not have chance in their life to get education on time. So NGOs and government take up such type of initiatives. Then migration to better paying places for full utilization of skills. For example, if there is a doctor, he is very much skilled and he is a surgeon, but in a certain rural area, he does not have equipment in hospital where he can do some surgery. But if he migrates to some larger city, he can get employment in certain big hospital, and there he can do surgeries, there he can treat the patients, and who will pay them higher amount also, and he will get better experience and better skill upgradation. Then expenditure on information, job bulletins, training programs, etc. help you to recognize the places or to get information about the jobs which are available elsewhere in the market. For example, if I am staying in Delhi but I don't have job opportunities over here, but if I go to Bangalore or if I go to Hyderabad, I may have certain better job opportunities for me at least, and the environment is maybe also very good. So in that case, I can migrate there. But if I don't have information at all, then how can I migrate? So job bulletins and training programs help you to migrate to the places where you can function well and earn well. Then human capital formation and economic growth or significance of human capital formation. Changes in emotional and material environment of growth. Higher productivity of physical capital through better trained professionals, engineers and technicians, more innovations and inventions. High rate of participation and equality, more professionals, more work and growth. So, what is significance of human capital formation in your economic growth? These are they. Changing the emotional material environment. When a person gets educated and trained, he is better in emotional terms and the environment of growth increases manyfold. How? Educated people may get better employment, they improve the society, their mentality is better than uneducated people, and emotional environment also improves due to education. Then, high productivity of physical capital. When you are trained, you can use your machines nicely. See, if there is a machine and if you don't have an engineer or trained professionals, that machine can't function well. But if you have an engineer over there and if you have a technician to work on that machine can give its maximum output and support your business. In that manner, skilled professionals add to your production and ultimately add to the GDP of the nation and economic growth of the nation. Then high rate of participation and equality. When people get education or skill or expertise on job trainings, they get better employment, they participate in many activities, they can go for many types of jobs and they can uplift the society, and more professionals can work more and lead to more growth. So that means education and professionalism can increase your growth of nation. Then problems facing human capital formation in India. Rising population, that is a perennial problem, that is a continuous problem India is facing every year. Large number of people get added to workforce, and there is huge pressure on your health facilities, on your education facilities, etc. And that is the reason that low per head availability of facilities is low in India. Why? Because government no doubt is increasing facilities, but with increasing population they all get consumed very quickly. So we are never apt with, or we are never at the maximum rate of growth that we can achieve because our population rate is very high. Then brain drain. You might have heard, I am studying in such and such college, I'll settle in Canada, I'll settle in America. Lot many students out here go for education to other nations, or they get training over here and go to work in other nations. That is brain drain. That means trained professionals move out of India for earning purposes and they settle out there. That means they were born in India, India supported them since their childhood, but they moved to other nations to develop other nations, and India is suffering on account of that. Deficient manpower planning, lack of qualitative education and training. See, nowadays people are getting degrees, they are getting education also, but that education is not qualitative. People may not know the real essence of education, and in-depth education is lacking. Only degree education is going on there. There are lot many degree holders, but if you ask them something, they may not be able to answer the questions correctly, and they may not be able to function nicely if they are required to do any job. That is your deficient manpower planning. And insufficient on-the-job training in primary sector. See, agriculture and allied sectors like fisheries and your sericulture, etc., and your horticulture, there's plantation, etc. We don't have much training. Farmers do not have much training. They do not know what type of soil is they are having in their fields. They do not know what type of crop should be sowed or planted in their fields so that they can earn maximum profit out of their farming. So in allied sectors also, just like in dairy farming, other agro-based industries also, people do not have training and they are just functioning. They are doing their production but not up to the maximum output. Low academic standards. Skill deficient degree holders. I just told you, people are holding degrees but they do not have that skill. The importance of education for human resource development. Education produces responsible citizens. It develops science and technology, all of us know. It facilitates use of natural and human resources of all regions of the country. See, if you are educated, if you are trained professional, then you can go to any part of country. You can just start your own small scale industry. You can lead to development of your nation. You can get employed in some school or college. You can educate people, or if you are an engineer, you can improve the industry of your nation. So here it facilitates use of natural resources and human resources of the nation if you are trained professionals. It expands mental horizon of people, of course, then helps economic development through greater participation of the people in the process of growth and development. It promotes cultural standard of the citizens and it develops human personality. The overall personality of the person improves if he gets educated and trained well. So it is a main component. Human resource is the main component of your capital formation in the nation, and secondly for economic development and growth and elevating up the level of your human development index and human welfare. The need for government intervention in education and health. See, when India embarked or started on its economic planning, public sector enterprises were given the key role. That means government played a key role or very important role in your economic development of the nation since the beginning of your economic planning, that is 1951. Why? Because government was the only entity that was having that much amount of funds or money which could be invested in large scale development of your nation, because building schools for whole nation was not possible for any private individual or private company. So it was taken up by Government of India. Here three sectors need huge investment with very high fixed expenditure. That is, education needs huge investment. It is difficult to expect private investors to invest in health and education unless they are allowed to recover their huge cost through high price of these services. Initially, when India gained independence, Indian people were not that rich and everyone could not pay higher amount for education. But if private schools were established, if education was left to private individuals, then private schools could have been built in some regions, but they would have charged more fees, higher fees. Right now also, that currently if we go to some private schools and if you go to government school, the fees of government school is much lesser in comparison to your private schools. And that was the reason that government took the initiative of establishing schools for people in India. Then people in poor country like India cannot afford high price for education and health. And that was also the reason that government took initiative of participating in education provision. That individual consumers of these services are unaware about the quality and cost of these services, which leads to the exploitative behavior of private service providers. You might have seen in private schools, many times teachers are not taking classes, students are not given facilities which are promised at the time of admission. In that case, what is happening? They are charging you more, but they are giving you inferior type of services. And that exactly is the thing which people cannot differentiate from from government schools and private schools. In some of the government schools, education is really very nice. Okay, and people just get blinded with the pomp and show of private schools and they pay more fees. So they are not the right judges of what type of services private schools are providing and what type of payment they are taking from them, extracting from parents actually. Government intervention is to ensure that these service providers adhere to stipulated standards. So government intervenes in these private schools also. They cannot charge very exorbitant fee rates or very high prices for their education, and government takes initiatives for that. When basic education and healthcare is considered as rights of citizens, the government needs to make provision for free of cost education and health services, at least for the backward sections of the society. Still, India is not an advanced nation. Large number of people in India are poor. They belong to backward sections of society. So what happens over here? India promised, it is in directive principles of state policy, and right to education and health is your right in India. So India provides basic education free of cost, and that is the very reason that government intervenes in education provision. Then measuring government expenditure as percentage of total expenditure of government and expenditure as percentage of GDP. So what is total expenditure? That is what is the amount of expenditure done on infrastructure, on agriculture, on defense, on education, etc. So government has different funds or amounts which it invests in different activities of the nation. So here we measure expenditure on education as percentage of total expenditure in this regard. Secondly, it can be measured as a percentage of GDP also for India. We have total amount of GDP in 1 year, and from that total GDP, what is the percentage that we are taking away to invest on education provisions? That is a percentage of GDP. Fine. Then, as per the Education Commission 1964-65, government should spend 6% of total GDP on education. In 1999, the government of India appointed the Tapas Majumdar Committee, which estimated that government needs to spend, and is left over here, rupees 1.37 lakh crore on education over a period of 10 years from 1998-1999 to 2006-07 to bring all children under age group of 6 to 14 years under education cover. So 1.6 lakh crore was the amount that was required to be invested at that time for 10 years continuously to bring all the children under the age group of 6 to 14 years under education cover. This is the relegation of your Tapas committee, and this is important, and you can memorize that, and we have understood this. Then educational finance, who spends on education and how much? The state government of India. State governments spend a huge amount of money on your education of their respective states. Then we have central government. It also invests annually on your education for all the states and for different provisions. Then the total percentage expenditure by the government, states as well as the states is 80 to 90%. Total percentage of expenditure that is done by government, that is state and central government, is 80 to 90%. Then the parents by way of fees, how much do they contribute? 4 to 5%. Okay. Then the private trusts like NGOs, etc. and trusts, education trusts, they invest 7% nearly. And the endowments, just like corporate social responsibilities, like you can say Reliance donates some amount or Tata's invest some amount in education, that is about 3% of your total investment or expenditure on your education in India. Then educational achievements in India, institution primary and middle schools. In 1950-51 we had only 2.23 lakh institutions, but now we have in 2015-16 we had 12.70 lakh primary and middle schools. In secondary schools we had 7.4 thousand in 1950-51, but now we have 2.52 lakh. In a similar manner, the institutions or number of universities, number of colleges, number of students in all these institutions has increased, and you can refer to this table. Important organizations, what are they? NCERT, that is National Council of Educational Research and Training. It is basically engaged in designing text material up to the senior secondary level, up to 12th level. It is engaged in your planning your all the textbooks, all the text material. Then UGC, University Grants Commission. It is primarily the funding authority for university education. It also enforces the rules and regulations regarding higher education in the country. So it takes care of higher education and grants. It provides grants to you. That means if you are in some university or college, you can apply for the grant and you get grant for research, etc. And then we have UGC NET, JRF. You might have heard from your seniors that National Eligibility Test can be taken and you get grant for PhD and other scholarships for your research. Then AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education. It enforces rules and regulations regarding technical or engineering education in the country. Then ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research. It enforces rules and regulations related to education and research in the health sector. So here medicine is there, here technical education is there, here research is there, and here your text material provision is there. So all these organizations take care of your education in India. Challenges of education: large number of illiterates, largest in the world. This is for the simple reason that we have largest number of people living in India, and that will also be the reason that inadequate vocationalization, degree-oriented education. See, we do not get on-the-job training or training that can be used for some technical purposes, or we can't go and work somewhere. It is only bookish knowledge we are having. It is theoretical knowledge. We don't have practical knowledge. We don't have vocational knowledge of becoming a carpenter or technician or any other skilled labor. It is only theoretical, degree oriented. That gender bias in male-female education. Still, in many parts of India, in many parts of regions and villages especially, women are differentiated from education. A male child is sent to school, but a female child is not sent to school, and that too is a problem in India. That low rural access level, very high disparity in education exists in India. In some of the villages in India, you don't find school, and school may be far away up till you move up till 50 kilometers, and then you may find a small school. That is the main problem in India, that people are not getting education nicely. Then privatization, out of reach of people. So in private schools, you can't admit your kid very easily because it is very expensive, so it is out of reach of poor. Only rich people can make their children to go in these private schools. Then low government expenditure on education, only 4 to 5% against 6% commitment. Previously it was committed that government will invest 6% of its expenditure on education, but it is investing only 4 to 5% of what it can. So this is all about your chapter 5. We have completed this chapter. If you have any sort of problem, you can just send in comments. We will be in contact with you people continuously, and we will be posting more and more videos. And up to chapter 5 we have completed, and now we will go for chapter 6. So take care, God bless you, work hard and study hard.